So today is Wednesday, I am in the garage, and this is Man or Metal. I want to take a bit of a second though, because I want to do things a little different today. So I'm gonna grab a seat. So the point of today's video is to kind of talk to you, the listener, the viewer, about my efforts in battling with my own anxiety. Okay, I have anxiety. I have anxiety about almost anything. Things that I can think of offhand that cause me anxiety: social situations. Going to the first day of school was almost consistently always an issue for me. I would not be able to sleep the night before. Same thing with the first day of a job. I just got a new job. I have co-workers that I'm trying to get used to, and sometimes even when we're in the same space, like if we're passing each other, because of the nature of my job, it can cause tension. I feel pressure with that. I have to give basically what I would define as a patient description to the providers or doctors, along with my supervising nurse/nurse manager, every time I am at work. And going into there each day is an oral report is what it is. If you can imagine that, every day I give an oral report at the same time each day on different patients, and that too is a source of anxiety for me. As a person right now, I'm trying to date, so whenever I see a girl that I think is hot or that I'm attracted to, I found that I also get anxiety. It's almost like a panic attack. Like my mind shuts off, my body is stiff. And when I think about what that could be connected to as far as anxiety, I think about this time when I was in middle school and I liked this girl. I was like 13 maybe, and I made the mistake of telling my close friends at the time, at the same time that a friend of hers heard it. And this girl, really, she was like a bully to me, and she went and told the girl, and then two other girls ran back and they were like, "They said no," just like that. And like the whole crowd, like the whole like lunchroom just laughed. It was really weird. I don't know how everybody else was in on the joke, but I think that by itself was like a moment for me where, anxiety with women kind of started. So one of the things that I'm doing is trying to take advantage of the resources that I have as a mental health nurse to learn about how to deal with my anxiety. So one of the things that I did was I grabbed this, and I'll try to superimpose this on the screen, and it says anxiety discharge instructions for the adult. So I grabbed this, I printed it, I read it. It was useless, absolutely useless. But there were some links on there at the bottom from reputable sources like the National Institute for Mental Awareness. And so I went there, I checked out some of the things from that, and it actually had some pretty cool ideas for me that I'll tell you guys about. And the first one was to keep a journal. And that's kind of how this is for me, right? Is that in a way, this is me expressing those things that are causing me anxiety. If I can identify the things that are triggers for me, and then it suggested avoiding them, which in my case is not going to work. But there is another idea behind that, which is like desensitization. And if you look that up, all it is continually introducing a stimulus, or the thing that's making you react a certain way, and to continue introducing it in different level amounts to allow your body to adjust, because we really are incredible creatures. We're able to adapt. We continue to adapt. And so if I can identify the things that's causing me anxiety, and I can introduce myself to those things on my own terms, most likely I am better prepared to deal with them. Another thing they told me to do was to maintain an adequate diet, get enough sleep, basically just like taking care of my body overall, which you probably wouldn't think would be directly related to something like anxiety, but it is related to mental health. And so in making sure that those things are properly regulated, I'm probably better able to put up a fight. So I'm thinking about that. It also mentioned avoiding caffeine, which I don't take caffeine too much. I don't drink like a lot of coffee. That actually puts me to sleep. But on the adverse, the reason that it puts me to sleep is because I have attention deficit disorder. So I take meds for that, which are like stimulants. They literally are stimulants. And caffeine being a stimulant, what it basically amounts to is that both could increase my anxiety. So trying to figure out how to find a balance with that will take some conversation with probably some well-informed individuals. The other thing that it said was to exercise, so I try to do that. And then finally it mentioned to remind myself that it's okay. So in regards to exercise, obviously if I feel better, even getting moderate exercise, it'll allow me to hopefully feel better in those situations. And then reminding myself that it's okay. I actually did that recently when I was like standing in front of this girl that I work with. I was just typing on the computer and she happened to pass behind me, and I thought to myself like, man, like I'm just so tense. And I asked myself like, why am I anxious? And I told myself to lower my shoulders, take a breath, to try to focus on my work. And I would say later throughout the day we kind of had like a really cool conversation. It was pretty positive. So that's a work in progress. That's where I'm at on this. I'd love to know your thoughts and comments below, how you guys are dealing with if you have anxiety. Tell me your thoughts, check in, and I'll see you guys next week.